Hi, friends. If you've been by the parsonage in the last week or so, you've noticed the dumpster in our driveway and the saws on our front porch and the workers in and out of the house. The floors were being replaced, and as of this morning, the job is complete. We are already thinking about when to plan a party for you to come and see all of the improvements that the trustees have made on the parsonage in the last couple of years. But before that can happen, we have a lot of cleaning and putting back together to do. As you might imagine, this project disrupted our daily routine, especially our morning workouts at the CrossFit gym. So one day last week, we went in the evening. And the evening class was much larger than the morning class that we usually attend. And so that meant we had to double up at stations around the gym and take turns doing the workout. Now, I was paired with a man that I didn't know, and he was very strong and very intense. At one point during his workout, I was genuinely concerned that he was going to hurt himself. And the coach could see the worried look on my face. And so she came over not only to make sure he was doing okay, but I think also to comfort me. And then when his workout was complete, he lay down on the floor with his hands on his head and breathing heavily. And I went over and I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "No." And so I was bending over to see what I could do to help. And the coach yelled at me by name to get my stuff ready because the next phase of the workout was going to begin. But I was like, "But he's not okay." So she motioned me to go ahead, and I did, and she came over, and he was fine. But it was all very stressful. I knew that there wasn't really anything I could do for him. I also knew that we were only partners in the sense that we were sharing space and not that we were actually working together. And yet still, I felt responsible for him. Now, I know that's part of my personality. I feel responsible for people and situations, sometimes because I am, and sometimes even though I'm not. I wonder if you've ever felt that way. Even if it's not part of your personality, I bet there have been times when you have. Like when a child or a friend makes a bad decision and you ask yourself, what could have I done to prevent that from happening? Or when a loved one dies and you say to yourself, if only I had done this or that, maybe they would have lived longer. Or maybe for something positive when you say to yourself, well, this only happened because of me. Don't get me wrong. It is good for us to take our responsibilities seriously and to look out for one another. The problem is when we become overly responsible. And that is when we feel inadequate if we can't fix every situation, or when we feel pressured to succeed in every circumstance. To the overly responsible, Jesus says, your greatest glory is not what you have done, but what God has done for you, in you, and through you. Rejoice not because God has given you power and authority, but because God has accepted you and written your name in heaven. That's a loose paraphrase of Luke 10:17 through 20. God's grace, God's unconditional, unmerited, unlimited love in Jesus accepts us for who we are, not for what we do. Yes, we have important, even sacred responsibilities, but we are not God, and we are not responsible for carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. We are responsible for loving God, for following Jesus, and for caring for the people and the world around us. Together with God and with each other, we can take responsibility to be faithful, to forgive, to embody God's kingdom, and to rejoice in our place in it. Thanks for listening. I'll see you again next week.